Hello, you guys. Welcome to our Queen Talk discussion. Today, we will be discussing our online dating experiences. And we have Crystal Lynette, and we also have Kimberly Reviews.
Mhm.
So, yeah, today we'll just be discussing our experiences, our tips, and advice. So, let's just jump right into it. First things first, we're going to talk about safety, especially as women. We have to protect ourselves. There's so many crazy things going on in the world. You have people that are sex trafficking, kidnapping, they're they're setting people up to get robbed on these dating apps, and some you hear every once in a while some news stories, some women end up dead from these dating apps. So my first question to you guys is, what precautions do you take to protect yourself as far as the information you disclose on these apps, and what precautions do you take when you're meeting up with these dates in person?
I know for me personally, I do not give a lot of descriptive details about what area I'm in as far as like my city, if I even go that deep. But I try to keep it at like state level and maybe put a city that's close to where I live so I can get people in my area. Also, I like the Google number where you can get like a fake number to use.
Mhm.
Because people can find out where you live based on your phone number. So if you're giving them your real phone number, they can easily locate you or track you down. And I always, if I'm meeting someone from a dating app or even someone I met in person at a store, I tell people the details of where we're going to be meeting at and what time, and I have someone on standby in case I need assistance. So that's very important, in my opinion, for the safety piece.
Yes, at the same as well. Now, some of the apps nowadays they want you to give your location, or within a 10-mile radius, and I hated that. I would even just keep myself super anonymous before doing. Before truly going on the app and really giving all of my profile information, they wanted me to, give my exact location. They wanted me to give my exact age. And I know how shiesty people can be and just look me up. But I always, always, always told a friend or someone, or a family member, okay, this is where I'm going. I'm leaving now, and I'm meeting this person at this restaurant. Okay, and then I would, when I got there, okay, I've arrived. I'm supposed to be meeting him, and just try to take a picture of wherever you are. It is so important. It's so important. Mhm.
I agree. With me on dating apps, I only post pictures of myself. And I feel like I hate when men do this too, when they post pictures on dating apps with their friends, their family, their kids. I'm like, what in so I don't do that. I just post myself. I will disclose that I am a mother. I am not posting any pictures of my daughter though. But yeah, I just keep the information to a minimum as far as meeting in public. There is something I would always do. I would sit in my car and I would text the person like, "Hey, I'm here, just got a table." And I would sit in my car and just watch the door and be like, "Is this the person that's on the app? And do they got anybody with them?" So
Right.
I would just sit there and wait, and then I would come in behind them, and they would look like, You already said you was in here. What are you?" But I'm like, I don't care. I don't explain nothing. I just sit down, act like nothing happened. And another thing I do is even though like we'll have discussions like, what do you do for a living, yada yada. and I will act like I forgot. I'm like, what did you say you did? Just to see if I can catch them in a lie or something. Because it's, yeah, these men be lying. So I'll play a little dumb. Like, I don't remember, I don't recall. I'm so forgetful to see, like, are they gonna lie? But yeah, that's it. Let's get into turn ons and turn offs. So I want to know, what makes you ladies swipe left or swipe right on these men?
Go ahead, Kimberly.
I would say incomplete profiles. If you have not answered the questions or given like a written in description, you know how they tell you to fill in like what you're looking for. If you don't have more than a few sentences, I'm swiping, and also no pictures. Like a lot of people do not put pictures, so that makes me swipe immediately. But if they're a Christian, that draws me in. So I'm staying around, trying to get more information if they're a Christian, because that's top on my list. And I think just those details, having those details filled out, and someone who says they like dating, they're interested in that, because some people just want a hookup. So you really have to read these profiles and find out what they're looking for. But if it's not filled out properly, you don't know what they're looking for. So I just swipe them away.
Those those ones with no pictures, men, you need to have a picture of yourself. And honestly, I would appreciate 2 and 3 pictures of yourself. Just be honest. Also, don't show pictures of your penis. Don't just all the way, just all the pictures of yourself are below the belt. No, I'm swiping left. I'm not doing it. Um, those incomplete profiles, I agree with Kimberly. That's a no go for me. If I've taken the time to fill out my profile, or I look for specific things, because sometimes I'm in a rush and I will make sure and fill out it's the specific main things on a profile. Yeah, that I will. I may not go in depth about my job, but I will at least say what my job is, and it gives those specific things. I swipe left if you say you're a smoker, any type of smoke, 420 or just nicotine. No, I swipe and left. Um, if you're, oh, I'm just looking for, oh, if I'm just you just looking for somebody to chill, Netflix and chill. No, I'm swiping left. Um, that's all I can think of right now. You know me. I might think of something else later.
For me, it's if there's people, if they're posting pictures with people, I don't, I just swipe left. I don't like playing guessing games, like which one is you. Like, now I feel like you playing games, and I'm like, I don't have time. Only post pictures of yourself. I don't want to see your dog. I'm sorry. Like, I don't even like you. Why do I need to like your dog too? Because I don't even know if I like you yet. But yeah, the pictures, oh my God, they're some of these hood dudes and their pictures. It's like, don't be smoking in the pictures. I want to see it. If the background is messy, if the mirror is dirty, like, why are you taking mirror pics in a dirty mirror? Like, what is going on? That alone, I'm like, yeah, no. Oh, I didn't even make it to the bio yet, but yeah, no. So the bio, if the bio's complete, I like when they sometimes I like when they write a lot in their bio, because sometimes it is interesting. Other times I feel like if they have too much in their bio, they're like complaining about, I don't like liars, I don't like cheaters, and I'm like, oh no, we ain't doing that. You too. I'm not healing nobody right now. So yeah, those are my turn ons and turn offs. So if you look like a gentleman, you need to look like a gentleman. I did have a hood dude phase, but I am not 100% still in that phase. So you need to look well put together. It's not about the designer clothes or anything like that. Just look put together. Look like you have a job. Look like you just look like something. My goodness. Like some of these men, if you could see them on these apps, you're like, what were you thinking? Why'd you pick that picture of all pictures?
Or you're taking a picture like of you golfing, but you're far, far away. I can only see your
Right.
you hitting them. I'm like, what? I can't. That. What are you doing? You trying to look athletic? Or another guy sent me had a picture of him with his work friends, and there was two white people in the picture, him and another black person. I was like, well, wait, where are you? Who am I talking to? Like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. That's just a lot. You're doing too much.
Even when they post pictures of their adventures, like, I don't want to look at the lake that you went fishing at. Like, what does that do for the profile? Like, I don't. Yeah, but anyway, so I'm sure we've all had, like, the title of this discussion is the good, the bad, the ugly of online dating. So we're going to start with the good. So what good, if there is any good, what good dating experiences have you had on this app or on any apps?
Kimberly.
I was reading that comment. That is true about people lying because, yeah, that's very true. People just select anything. But for me, I would say good. I met a great friend. Like, we're still friends now. We met on the app. We didn't work out, relationship wise. And if you all watch CMK After Dark this past Friday, I actually mentioned him on the app because then he met a friend of mine and he was able to tell me, and they were both able to tell me that they were dating or whatever, but we're still good friends. And he actually helps me vet out other guys because he really knows me and he knows what I like. He just didn't fit what I wanted and liked. So I think that's a good thing that came out of it, a good friend.
I haven't had any great uh, uh, things come out of the dating apps, but I also think that but I have heard that a lot of people have had great potential come out of the dating apps, and I think that it's because I've been so frustrated with the dating apps that I just stopped. Just stopped before it might have gotten good, but because when you've had so many bad results come out of something, you don't even want to deal with it anymore. So. Mhm.
For me, I had one good dating experience that I could remember, but because people think a bad or something's negative just because they didn't get married or because they didn't end up in a long-term relationship. But I met this man. He was a gentleman raised in the church. We had very similar backgrounds, but he was in the military. So that was kind of the downfall of it. We connected, we talked for months. It was a full-on situationship. But we just came to the point where it was like he couldn't travel to me, so I would have been traveling to him, and I just wasn't willing to do that. But we had a good connection, but there was no gaslighting, there was no lying, I wasn't led on in any type of way. We came to the mutual decision that, you know what, this probably isn't going to work if we're both not able to visit each other. And I honestly did not want to be in a long distance relationship. And I really had no plans to pick up and move to wherever he was at. So we just came to that mutual decision that, you know what, this probably is as far as this is going to go. And that's what it was. So that was my experience. Let's get into the best dating apps versus the worst dating apps. So, which dating apps were you like, okay, there's good matches on here, and which ones were you like, this ain't it?
Okay, I'll go first. So the ones that I had bad results from are, well, Facebook dating. And Misha and I were talking before the show what happened with that one. And I had not so good with, was it with Bumble? And oh gosh, there was another one that was just like, oh, I can't remember now. Go ahead, Kimberly. It'll come back to me.
So I did not try many, but I liked Christian Mingle and I like Black People Meet because I really want a black man. And I told y'all my story. I'm dating somebody, and if it doesn't work, maybe after about 2 years I'll cross over. But for now, I am interested in black, and I want to marry black. So Black People Meet, I love that site. I think they had great options, and I really encourage others to try that. But I don't recall many bad ones because for me, I'm quick to block someone. Like if I don't like their profile, I'll just block them, and so we don't even get further.
I am quick to block too, but you brought back the Black People Meet. That's woo. I didn't even want to mention that one because that was a long time ago. That was a good one. I did meet a couple on Black People Meet. That is so funny. But I have a couple friends that just had a really bad results with Tinder as well. That was the other one. Okay, go ahead, keep Amisha.
Yeah, my best what was that? And lost my train of thought. My best dating app, I will say I had decent experiences on Tinder. I know it's known as a hookup app. Um, I feel that it's what you make of it. Yeah, you do have to weed out a lot of these men that just want to hook up. But it was a decent experience as far as being able to connect with people, and some of them, a lot of them I didn't date. So it's not a good or bad thing. It's just I felt it was decent. Um Worst dating apps. My worst dating app was probably the Facebook dating app. I did not enjoy my time on there. There was nothing but hood boogers. And I don't mean hood dudes, I mean hood boogers. Like, they were just it was so bad. There were men on there that were in jail. It, there were men on there with smoking weed with grills, and I was just like, no, I cannot do it. I was so quick to get out of there because I was just like, yeah, no, this ain't for me. Um, Tyronda had a question. What are your feelings on long distance relationships, and how far are you willing to go? So, how do you ladies feel about that?
I'll be honest with you, Taronda. I'm glad you asked this question because I do want to give you a couple stories from the dating apps, but I'm actually open to it now. Years ago, I wasn't, and I've just recently realized that I'm that sometimes you have to date around. You have to date around from in different areas. Like your man may not be like I'm right outside of Atlanta. He may not be right here. I've definitely realized that. Listen, but he may not be right here. So if he's in Memphis, or actually, I was just talking to a guy from South Carolina. I'm originally from South Carolina, so and that's not horribly far. That is a drive, but that's not horribly far. Now, if I were to go to California or something like that, how are we going to truly, get together and see each other in person, those type of things? And it would truly be still just dating because I don't plan on moving back to California anytime soon. So we would really have to figure that out. Somebody would have to make some changes. But I was definitely not into that because you really want to make those connections. But I'm definitely open to it now, and I see a lot of my friends doing it. And I have a friend that's actually a flight attendant, and she meets guys, and they're really open to taking her out and treating her right and being polite and being respectful. And the guy that does that may not be living here, so I'm open to it now.
Yeah, I agree. For me, I am open. They don't even have to be in America for me personally, because you can travel. There are so many sites where you can get discount flights from and meet this person. You can video chat. And I love to travel. So for me, it would be an opportunity to travel, and hopefully at his expense, because that's the type of guy that I would like. And so I'm open. Long as they're on planet Earth, we can work something out.
Right. So my last getting to know someone, whatever you want to call it, he lived out of state. And I was okay with it as long as there was some type of end goal.
Mhm.
And the connection was great, but I kept asking him realistically, how will we make this work? Like, realistically, when will we end up together? Because I want to be married. Like, when will we realistically be able to be married and living together? And it was just this whole, well, we have to start somewhere, like, just wait and see. And I say, yeah, no. So that's my issue with the long distance is you need a plan, you need a strategy for that. It's not just a go with the flow type of thing. So if a man is interested in doing that, you really have to be a planner and intentional in setting up trips, vacations, that sort of thing, and not just I'll see you when I see you or type of thing. So that's my thing. If you're going to pursue this long distance relationship, we need some type of end goal, some type of plan and strategy in place. So let's get into the title of this discussion is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly of Online Dating. So let's get into these bad and ugly experiences. So let's get into those worst dating experiences. Yeah, so what has happened with you guys that you were like, what in the world did I just agree to on this day?
So, for me personally, I have a bad experience from a guy I met online. And this was back in my days where I did not know you were not supposed to go to their home so early. So, I met the guy and I went to his home, and come to find out it was another woman's home, not even his home. And she was at work. So, he and I worked first shift. This girl worked second shift, so it worked perfectly for us to get together on second shift and hang out, whatever. And I later found out that it was someone else's home because the girl and I ended up talking actually. And this guy was terrible. He was a stalker. He would make fake profiles and try to befriend me on the profiles. He would friend my other friends so that I would friend him because we have mutual friends, so to speak. And one day he messaged me from one of the fake profiles. And this was when on Facebook they had the location turned on in Messenger. And so I went to the location because I just knew it was that guy. And so I went to the house, and it was one of his ex's house. So I immediately knew it was him. He didn't fess up to like a year later because I kept nagging him, like, that was you, wasn't it? Because I went to the address, but he never harmed me. But that's when I learned to put all these safety measures in place, not to give out your phone number, not to go to me in house so soon, and just let people know what you're doing and who you're talking to, because sometimes we want to be so private. And I mean, he was very good at hiding these women, because like I said, it wasn't even his house, it was the mother of his child's house, and she was pregnant. And he was doing, I mean, it was, that's terrible, right? That is terrible. So that was right. That was the worst experience ever. Right. Yeah, it was tough.
I'm, I am so glad you're safe and you're okay because you just don't know.
Nope.
Um, Wow. So, I mean, I have had the bad experiences, and I've told Risha this story a couple times. Guy eating out my plate, just like I wasn't even finished with my food, and he said, "Oh, he asked me, are you finished with your fries?" I said, "Yeah, I'm not gonna have any more," and he just started eating them. Just reached over and started eating my off of my plate, and I was just like, ugh, like I don't know you. This is a first date. And then one of my things is, especially me being a single woman, and it's just consideration. Walk me to my car. We
Hmm.
ain't going nowhere. This isn't going anywhere. If we know it, even if I know it and you don't know it, just it's dark. And this was not even a high end restaurant. This wasn't a Houston's. I think it was a TGI Friday. I think it was, yeah, if I remember correctly, it was TGI Friday. And he said, okay, good night. And he walked to his car, and my car was like all the way in on the other side of the parking lot. And had no inclination to walk me to my car. And I was like, wow, that something could have happened. And so that, like you said, safety is huge. I have had guys that didn't even get to the date portion, and just right there on, I think this was Bumble, that within the first few sentences, what are you doing tonight? Can I come over and eat you? And I won't finish that sentence because it's not my channel. So and, I've had, and I mean, within the first, hey, how are you doing? I'm doing good. How was work today? Work's good. So when do you get off work? Let me come by. And I was like, wait, what? That type of thing. What else? There's just bad. I know I will think of more before Misha goes. Yes, I have a good friend that actually started to go ahead and date a guy, and he is actually he was had spent 25 years in prison, and but she tried to like give him a chance, and it just ended very badly. So that's all I got for now. Come back to me.
Yeah, I had I there's two that are at my top. There was one, the dude didn't have a car. And I didn't even find this out until like 2 hours before our date. And then he asked me to pick him up and drive him on the date. and and yeah, that was probably it was just a totally weird experience. But second one was basically, I'll save the tea for the end of the story, but basically met this dude on a dating app. He was very persistent and straightforward. We sent a couple messages and he was just like, send me your number. I want to take you on a date. And I thought this was a good thing because he was being straightforward. I thought he was showing intention. We go on the date. It's he I had in my mind, okay, this is Mr. Right Now. It's not probably going I don't see myself seriously with him. Like, ladies, we know, men know what they are feeling on these dates, how they feel, what position they feel the other person can play in their life. And I was like, this is just Mr. Right Now, whatever. So let's get into the fact that, so this is when I was in school, I was in college, and he told me he was in school too, and that he was a nurse. He was working towards becoming a nurse practitioner. So I was like, cool, okay. So I'm in school, I'm working full time. So I don't have a lot of time. You don't have a lot of time. This can work because we're both not going to be nagging each other about spending time together. So I'm like, okay. Um, he was very off the rip, possessive, controlling, trying to go through my phone, wanted to see text messages, and I was like, yo, what is happening here? So I just felt like weird, like I don't know. It was just something was off. I was like, I don't know what is up with this dude. So for I like to call myself the FBI. I will investigate. I will find the information I need to know. So I type his name in Google, nothing comes up. And I'm like, okay. So I type his phone number in Google. This name comes up. Mind you, he told me he was 30 years old. I Google this phone number. It's a 40-year-old man, and his name is not the name that he told me his name was. So I'm like, I was like, maybe this is some uncle because it's not that big of an age gap. Maybe his phone number is in somebody else's name. So I Google the name that's attached to the phone number. I'm like, that's him. That's definitely him. So I Google this name. As I'm Googling this name, I also see a baby registry. And I'm like, a baby registry? And there's a woman, there's a baby coming soon. And I'm like, what in the hell? So when I Google the woman's name, they have a house together. And I'm like, what? Because he was taking me to his apartment. So I'm like, what? Like, it was just like, I couldn't believe that there are men in this world. Like, so you have an apartment for cheating? Like, is this what you're it was just weird. I found out he was not in school. He was already a nurse practitioner. So he I felt like I was some type of prey and he was the predator. Like the fact that he came up with this whole telling me a younger age because he probably knew I would not be interested in him at his real age. The fact that he told me I said I was in school, he said me too. And you're not in school, like because you need that extra time at home with your wife. And it was like, yeah, I ghosted him. I was like, I want no parts of this. Kept contacting me. I run into him. He proceeds to blame me, saying that if we would still be together, we would be a couple if you hadn't given up on us. And I'm like, what do you mean if I was like, are you talking about me or your wife? And he had this look like, oh no, like, and yeah, that was the last time I heard from him. He backed off since then. And yeah, that was my worst experience. And I just felt like, okay, yeah, no, I can't do this. This is crazy and weird. You just never know. Because here's my thing with online dating, you only know what that person is telling you. You don't have no references. You can't fact check nothing. You just have to hope that what they're saying is the truth. So, yeah, that was my worst online dating experience.
I also
There
have
was a
a
question.
guy,
Mhm.
and I would see the pictures, and I said, "This is why is he wearing this uniform?" And I said, "This is a jail uniform." And he would message me. He kept messaging me, and so I said hello back finally. But I was like, "This white pants and white shirt with the blue stripe is just, come on now." So then so I don't know what I said to him, and he said, "Well, hey, beautiful, I'm inside." Or did he say? He said something like, "I'm locked down" or "I'm inside," and I said, he kept saying, "Well, sooner or later we'll be able to do certain things. We'll be able to hang out." And I said, "What are you in for?" I was just like, "Listen, you need to tell me what you're in for." He said, nah, lady, we'll talk about that. So, I'll have to get with you on that at another time. I said, yeah, okay, block. Yeah, you can't. Yeah, I got plenty of them.
Let's see. So Tyronda had a question. Question: if a guy is hounding you about giving some time and attention, do you think they are controlling or just serious about settling down?
I guess for me, it would depend on how much time they're, trying to spend, because I see some people date, weekly, but if he's hounding you about just spending like all day with him every day, or, multiple dates a week, maybe at the early stages, I would say that would be a red flag. But if he just wants to spend maybe, weekly dates and check in here and there throughout the day, I think that's fine. That's reasonable. Um, he could be serious.
I agree. I think that that's fine. It's when they are saying it a different way. If they say, well, you work too much, or you travel too much, or you do these type of things too much, I'm like, I know for a fact that I really don't travel that much, or and I don't work too much. And I work the amount of time it takes me to get a good job done, and I'm not working so much that I'm not paying attention to you. So I definitely think that he might be serious if he's not complaining, if he's not using it in a complaining voice. But I do think, just as Misha was saying, when they do it the opposite, and they want to check your phone, and they just have this untrusting attitude, it might be them that's having the issue. That's it.
For me, I'm very it doesn't take a lot for me to be suspicious in these type of scenarios. So if I'm on a dating app and I don't know you, we don't really have that connection. We've never, let's say we haven't actually been on any dates and we're still in the messaging or talking on the phone phase, I would think he's trying to set me up or something like that. So that would be a red flag to me, because I do want a man that has patience. So I don't want anyone that's going to hound me. Um I would think they're more controlling versus settling down, because they seem to want things on their terms to their liking. Because when they're busy, I bet you the hounding will stop. They won't be all trying to spend time when they have something important to do. So, yeah, I would probably think they're controlling. So, if anyone has any questions, you can drop them in the chat. Yes. This, like, I am so shocked when I'm on these apps and I see men sitting in the cell and they're in their jail uniform. I'm like, what? Like, they have cell phones? Like, it's it's crazy. And my whole thing is, if you're making this public, you're probably going to get caught. So these guards are probably out there looking and searching. But anyway, yeah, that's what shocks me the most. But I guess they got free time, so they like might as well. It would not be me.
If they got a phone in jail, or is that the white collar crime? Like, is that the misdemeanor? I don't understand how they have the phones in jail. But yeah, and they're able to post like 2 and 3 pictures. How they have this access, and nobody's.
I'm like, who is taking the pictures? It's
right.
Just so many questions.
So many questions that we probably don't need to know, but I'm just so curious. And you're right. I'm very suspicious. That's why I said that as soon as I have the bad experience, I'm done. I'm over it. And I don't like to give my number to anybody, especially, and honestly, like you were saying, if they are really quick to ask for the number, I'm like, oh no, why do you need my number? We've just had like 2 or 3 conversations. No, yeah.
And even one
So many
better, they
questions
have
about
like
JS.
dating sites. I don't know if I can say the name of the dating site where you can meet and date prisoners. But yeah, there is a dating site. I watched
I
something
just
on it,
heard of this.
and I know the name of the website. But yeah, there is a dating site. If you all are interested in inmates, you can have your, I guess, picking, and I'm sure they'll be happy to hear from you and have a pen pal. But yep,
There's this woman that hooks up inmates. I heard of this like recently.
yep, it's a real thing.
Let's get into this question. So, on a dating app, do you speak to many people or just one? And what happens if the guy wants you to do the other? Or I guess if you're dating multiple people and there's a specific guy that doesn't want you to date multiple men, he just wants you to date him. I think that's the question.
For me, I believe in dating multiple online and in real life. I do not just lock in on one guy because when you're dating, as Janice Hilton tells us, you're gathering data. So it's not like you meet this person and immediately you say, oh, this is going to be my husband. No, stay on the dating site, continue to search, and you can also be honest about that part if you choose to. But the second part of the question, if the guy wants you to, I don't know, is it maybe get rid of one or something? What would you do? I wouldn't let a guy control me and tell me when to get rid of the other person. It would be when I felt comfortable or when I feel that I have made a decision on whether I want to move forward to the next stage of dating with the one guy or not. That's when I would cut off the other potentials, as I like to call them. So yes, date multiple.
I absolutely agree. Date multiple, also date in person. I'd much rather find my man in person. But if I were dating on the dating apps, I would date multiple. And I would not just cut off until, or just date that one man until I knew that we have established that we are in a relationship. And I may even if I've cut everybody else off, after, if I'm like, okay, I've settled on this person, and in my head, I've settled on him and he doesn't know that. I'm not going to let him know that. I'm going to make sure, and I may even keep my app open and still just date him. I want to make sure that I am comfortable and confident in this relationship first. So if he wants me to cut off the other, if he wants me to cut off my dating app and cut off all the other engagements, then I think that that's a conversation. I say, okay, well, we need to have a conversation then. So, yeah. And where is this going? I don't know if I'd put it that way, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I agree. Here's the thing. I was on a dating app today. I definitely would. In the past, I would speak to many people, and then if I went on a date with someone and it went well, then I would pretty much just delete the app because I felt like, oh, I found someone. But the thing is, these men don't be deleting their apps. So that's another thing. But that's what I want to ask you guys. So say you go on a couple of dates with this guy, you decide to be exclusive, and then you find out he is still on the dating app. His dating app is still active. What do you do?
I would have a conversation with him because just like the experience you had, this man was married, but his wife apparently he thought he was divorced, or his wife didn't know, but he didn't know it. This man was married, but apparently he didn't know it. So, or his wife didn't know that he was out there having a good time and on the dating apps. So I guess he was out there, but his wife didn't know it. So I definitely think that that's a conversation that you need to have and say, so where are we with this? Because if I am thinking that we're going on one direction and you're still out there on the dating apps, is there something that we need to talk about? Yeah. If I find out that later, that yeah, that would hurt. But at the same time, did I make assumptions uh in the, with the situation that weren't really there? I hope I answered that question.
Yeah, I agree. You definitely need to have a conversation. Oh, she said tell him to delete his profile. That's true too. But yeah, I would have the conversation, let him know how I feel, and then just see how he handles from that point. What does he feel? Is he just being controlling? Does he want me to delete it because he's still on there and he doesn't want me to see him? So it's just a lot of questions and situations you have to think about in that situation.
Yeah, for me, I had a guy do that. I actually met a guy, we became exclusive, and here comes my best friend sending me screenshots like he's still on this app. And I approached him about it. Oh, I don't even have the app anymore. Look at my phone. He showed me his phone. I just deleted the app, but like I didn't delete my account. That's why it still shows that. And I'm like, I wasn't believing it. And yeah, but these men, they will stay on that dating app and they will make their excuses. And yeah, but question, would you give a guy a chance if he is separated?
No, no for me.
Good question. And the answer is no. I would not give him a chance. He needs to let that ink dry on that paperwork. That's what my opinion.
For me, it's a no, because if you're separated, there's still a chance for reconciliation. It doesn't matter how much you think you hate her or you don't want it, you don't think it's going to work. There's still that open door. And I believe how you start something is how you're going to end it. So if you start creeping your way in when the door is not fully shut, that kind of shows me that maybe that's what you would do if me and that person were together. So I would say no.
I have a little scenario for you, a little story for you. A friend of mine, and they didn't meet on the dating app, but he and his wife were separated, and his wife started to notice he had actually gotten a separate apartment and everything. They were in the proceedings of getting a divorce, but his wife started to notice that he must be, when she would call, he would call her back, or he was just like late to pick up the phone and stuff like that. And so she started to manipulate him. And so this is a friend of mine who met him and was interested and started dating him. He was separated, and she started to, oh, well, your daughter needs this, or can you come by the house and do this, that, and the other. And my friend said, you need to figure out whatever that situation is over there, because his wife noticed and tried to get him back, and his wife would still try to manipulate the situation. And he said, I've been getting myself out there and dating again, and she didn't like that he did that, and she got him, he decided to go back to his wife. So yeah, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Let that ink dry. I'm sure, y'all, I'm skipping around, but there's more to that story. But yeah, he definitely eventually went back to the wife because she kept giving him every scenario, every time that they would be on a date. Oh, I got to go. My daughter's sick. Or, oh, I got to go. This, that, and the other. The wife would call. The, you know.
Okay, so let's get into our last thing. Yeah. I agree. Um, so, what dating tips or advice would you have for any woman that is doing online dating?
For me personally, I would just go back to what I mentioned in the beginning. Make sure you're not giving out your details, where you work, where you live, your phone number, even you can email for a period of time if you're not comfortable even giving out your direct phone number. And always let someone know where you are when you're meeting these people. Or, like someone else said, make sure you're meeting in public places and wait a few months before going to their home, because that's not a good idea to just have someone at your home or even you're at their home, because people will try things if they know you're that vulnerable and that quick to just give in to whatever they want. They'll really try you, and you just never know, because you're taking a risk when you're dating, even meeting people in person. Like at the grocery store or wherever locally, you can still meet someone who is just out to do harm. So I think just take precautions, and don't try to do it secretly. Have someone that you trust, that you can even give your password to. So if something does happen, they can log in and know who you were meeting. But that would be my tips. Just play it safe and don't give too much detail.
I agree. Don't give too much detail, but I like the Google number. I didn't think of that. That is a great addition. Definitely meet in a public place, and I actually think a restaurant is appropriate. I think it's important that you go to a restaurant and that hey, sit at the bar, just have a good conversation with the person, but as well make it a neutral place. I actually had a cousin of mine that the guy wanted her to meet him at the Panera that was almost an hour away from where she lived. Like, the where you are and where and so and she did it, it was Panera, but to me, why couldn't he have done a restaurant? But besides that, um but she was so far away from where she lived. And then, of course, they were closer to where he lived. And they're both in the music. They're both like musicians. She's a singer and he plays an instrument. I don't know what kind. And he was like, "Well, do you want to come up to my house? And I live around the corner, and we can just start, playing some music together." And so, no, you guys make it a neutral place, and make it like there's halfway points. Don't go so far out of your way, especially as women. Don't go so far out of your way that you don't know where you are. And also bring your own money. I know that that's an old adage. I'm sure all of these ladies in the chat are bringing their own money, I would hope. But make sure you can bring your own money. That's important too. So that's it.
Yeah, for me, it would be set your standards and your boundaries ahead of time, and know what you want ahead of time. Know, like, have an end goal on these apps, because you can very easily fall in to being the the have fun girl, the hookup girl, if you're getting on these apps without intention. I made that mistake years ago. I got on these apps and I was just like, I just want a relationship. I just want a boyfriend. And yeah, it did not happen the way I wanted it to. I would say, even with these dates, don't be afraid to speak up. Like, there was one particular date. He was trying to take me to this pool hall. I Googled the address. It looked so sketchy. And I was like, I don't know what part of town this is. It doesn't look safe. And I told him, I was like, can we meet somewhere else? I'm not really interested in going there. And he said, okay, well, what about this place? And I was like, yeah, that's better. And yeah, so don't be afraid to speak your mind if you're uncomfortable with meeting up. Don't feel like, because first of all, these men will try you. So don't feel, is everybody frozen? Don't feel like you have to, oh Lord. What is going on?
I think it's
Okay,
good.
I think it's working now. Okay. Okay. But yeah, that's another good one. Have your questions ready. Have your intentional questions ready so you're able to get what the information you need quicker and sooner, because you can waste a lot of time in messaging these men, and next thing you know, it's been a month and you still ain't been out on no date. He texting you, what are you doing, every 5 minutes, and you're like, what is happening? So have your questions and have your intention ready. Like Kimberly brought up a good point about not wanting to be so private. That was me. I was very private. I didn't want nobody to know I was on a dating app. I didn't want, but I got to a point where I would have a specific friend that, you know what, I'm going on a date. This is where we're going. So I started to do that, but don't have those people that you know you can talk to. Don't be telling, like, maybe family members are not the best because they don't understand that it's 2021 and there's people that date online and they don't end up on First 48. It's very possible to have a safe online dating experience. Yes, like I'm very specific now. Like I want to be married. I want a husband. So I don't want to mess around, play around. I'm very much okay, let's get this conversation going. Let's find out about your childhood, your goals and other stuff, and let's get to the point. But yeah, that's my advice and tips. um, Kimberly, I'll let you shout out your where people can find you, what things you have going on your channel.
Thank you so much. Yes, so I am Kimberly Reviews, and you can find me here on YouTube. I have a channel. I discuss topics like Married at First Sight. I also love to travel. So when I travel, I post my videos on my YouTube channel to give kind of like a review of what I did, and it gives you an idea of what to do when you go to these places. So my goal is to visit all 50 states, and I've been to about 13 of them so far. I also travel internationally. I went to Greece last month and spent about 8 days there on a girls' trip. So I'll be posting that next month. And I just enjoy selling products. I review products, and I'm also a financial coach. So if you need me to help you with your budgeting needs, let me know because I can help you get a budget together and we can save money and become debt free. So check me out. Thank you.
Okay, you can go ahead, Crystal.
Thank you so much, Misha, for this time. This was a lot of fun. And you know, I love hanging out with you and just hanging out with everyone in the chat. Y'all, I'm going to start with Misha and I. Please check us out Thursday evenings for our review of Married at First Sight. This show is going to drive us to drink. So please check us out on that. Tuesday, so then I'll go back. Tuesday, I will be going live for a review. I'm going to be doing this every Tuesday, review of Our Kind of People. And that's just going to be a lot of fun. So please check that out. And I will be putting my email in the description. So if anybody would like to get on and talk about it, please, I'm so interested in the hierarchy and everything that's going on in that show. And I just really want to talk about it. But as well, the men's panel is coming back, y'all. It looks like I'm going to get J Dubs and along with Sean and Onu and Bronzebird. And we're going to be talking about partner versus provider. And I'm going to have some other shows coming up in the future. So this has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much. And thank you, Misha. I love the Queen talk. I'm so happy for you. This is great.
Thank you. I appreciate the both of you for coming. Thank you, everyone in the chat. My next Queen Talk discussion, I will be basically going through my tips and tricks for growing your YouTube channel. I grew my YouTube channel pretty quick, so I want to give things that I did. So that's what I want Queen Talk to be about, us like sharing our experiences, dropping jewels and gems, and really helping other women or even men, they can come to, but helping people um just grow and be the best they can be. I like this, what Wealth and Health said. I had a guy to tell me, never tell a guy how to treat you, what you will and won't tolerate, and about your past relationships. That's very true, because you cannot give these men the blueprint. Like, I was just on Kimberly's live and she was or I don't know if it was you or someone in the comments, but you said the right guy will use it for good, the wrong guy will use it for bad. So yeah, I had to learn the hard way not to give too much out, because a lot of these men will use it to their advantage and to their benefit, to gaslight you, to lead you on, or to emotionally abuse you and make you feel bad for the things you went through. So I think it's important to not overshare. Like,
Yes.
there's so many women, they go on these dates and they have in their mind, okay, this could be my husband, this could be it, this could be the one, and you're already creating this fog. And that's why I think it's so important to date men at face value. Date them for what you see in front of you, date them for the words that are coming out of their mouth in front of you. Don't date looking at potential. Well, they could do this if they did that. Well, one day, no. You have to really take them for what is in front of you. So that would also be my dating advice on these apps, is don't get too hyped up on, yes, I want to be married. There's a lot of women that want to be married, but really just look at it as, I am getting to know someone. Like, I'm seeing if I like that person. Because yeah, you can get caught up real quick. That was my issue. I would fall too quick. I was the I had one good first date, and girl, I would swear I was in love. So that was my downfall, is I would have one good first date and I will be all into a whole bunch of mess. So
I
that would be mine. Mhm.
I agree. My advice would definitely be, if you're going to dinner, it's just dinner. This is just a conversation to get to know you.
Mhm.
Don't overshare is huge. Uh, Definitely don't tell, if you guys want to wait to tell about your past relationships. Do not tell about your past relationships or your past I don't want to say failures or
Mhm.
issues or what this person did to you. Do not mention your ex's name on the date. That's huge. But the oversharing, he can use it against you. And well, you said that this person did this to you, so it's going to come back if he's not the right person. But just look at the date as a date. Just look at it. Okay, this is a second date. This is a second outing with this person. If you look at it, oh, this is a date. It goes well. Oh, this is my husband, or I see as our children, or this is what our children's going to look like. It's just a date. It's just a date. It's just coffee. I did want to answer a question though, and maybe we'll talk about this later. A lot of people say that the dating apps, the one that you actually spend money on, are better than the free ones, right?
Mm,
I want to ask you, ladies, and I know we're supposed to end. This always happens to me,
you're
Shania.
fine.
How much would you spend? And I'm going somewhere with this question. How much would you spend on a dating app? What's feasible to you?
For me, I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to spend no money on no dating app. Even, you know what? I will pay the $12.99 for the little trial or whatnot. I will do that. And if it goes somewhere, then I would be more willing to pay. but to just pay out of pocket and you have no idea what options are available to you. And yeah, so you know what? I would cap it at $30.
There is this place. I want to. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Kimberly.
I was going to say the same, about 30 a month, because I think it's like monthly rates. So I think that's a reasonable amount to, include for dating expenses. $30 a month.
There is this, that's reasonable. I agree. That's reasonable. There's this place that started in LA, excuse me, started in California, and now they're here in Atlanta. They're different places, and they are charging people $2,000 for 6 months. And then they really select the person, and they reach out to me every so often. And I can tell an LA number, and I'm like, is this the same company? And instead of having their name come across the screen, it says IGL or whatever, and IJL. And I'm like, I'm not picking up the phone. No, I'm not going to be spending $2,000. Or I might need a laptop. I might need something fixed in this house, but I'm spending money on dates that don't go anywhere, and then like, well, you can stop it at any time. If you guys are going really well, if you meet somebody who's going really well, then you can stop it and then pick it back up in 6 months. And Crystal, we have we're having a sale, so instead of 2,000 it's 1,800. I'm like, stop calling me, like, good gracious. Yeah, anyway, so I was just wondering, what is the most that you guys would spend, because apparently this place is really doing very well, because for years they were just in LA and now they're all over. So,
well, that may be a little different though, because that would be like hiring a dating service, and maybe you would get better potentials and have a serious mate by the 6-month mark if they're paying $2,000 too.
I better have a ring on this finger and look.
That's, you know what, but I hear a lot of these celebrities be on dating apps, and I'm like, I know they ain't on Tinder or something, so that must be the apps.
Okay, y'all. Maybe you've spun me. Maybe is that what it is? Maybe that's what I need. Maybe I need to invest in that.
Now, Lonnie, right? What was it?
Lonnie?
She met hers on Christian Mingle. Her and her guy were on Christian Mingle. She said, "Yep."
That girl, what is her name? Tatiana Ali or whatever, the one who played Ashley Banks on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Yeah. She met her husband on eHarmony. They have like, I think 2 kids now. So I'm like, good. I hear these stories and then I'm looking at like, okay, this just don't. I don't think that would happen for me.
Like, where's the same?
Because my experience.
That's exactly what I go through. Like, well, that's not the same crop for me. Like, where is that crop? Because and then somebody else said it in the chat earlier that these people be lying about being a Christian. Yeah, they say they're a Christian and then they get you in bed and they're like, they're on to the next. They are Christian. They're Christian for the 48 hours that they're on this dating app. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There is very important to note there are different types of Christians. There are the Christians who go to Easter. That's the only church service that we go to is Easter and Mother's Day. So I'm like, I got questions. What type of Christian are you? Do you pay your tithes? Do you read the Bible? Like, what type of Christian? Because they'll put Christian just because their mama made them go to church as a kid, but they ain't been to church in 10, 12 plus years.
I totally agree. I agree with you. I was like, and you know what? I'm actually good at fixing people up. I said, I need to start my own. I need to really, invest in this and see where this goes. Because I used to be a talent manager. I need to start my own.
Well, if you guys don't have anything else to say, we will wrap it up here. Thank you guys so much for joining us and letting us know about your experiences. But Let's see. My friend said she went on Christian Mingle and a guy said he wants a good girl who does bad things. See, that's the thing. I think a lot of men scam and work these apps to their benefits with the like with Christian Mingle and stuff like that. It's like they think, "Oh, I know she's a good woman." So they equate that to being naive or just being able to run all over them. Yeah.
When I was in LA,
I've
I met a lot of Deep Valley
I
Crips.
never.
Sorry, go
What
ahead.
was that?
When I was in LA online, and the Crips were very prominent in my area, and that's what they were meeting their girls on online. So
Oh my goodness. But yes, that is all for that is all for right now. I thank you, Crystal Lynette and Kimberly Reviews, for taking the time to come on here. And thank you, everyone in the chat, for joining in with us. So until next time, I will see you when I see you.